Chapter 498. Sean glared at the head of the Baker family before he shouted, "Mike Baker. Haven't you found a way to cure me yet?" Mike trembled a little as he replied, "Don't worry, Chairman Richard. I have already sent someone to find a famous doctor to come over to cure you. I have also mobilized all the Baker family's contacts in the pharmaceutical industry, and we are all looking for even stronger antibiotics that would help to cure you." Even though he was saying that, Mike knew that there was no hope at all. He had originally hoped that Alan would be able to invite Peisel to come over to cure Sean, but Peisel did not give him any face at all. After Alan was driven out of Serene World Clinic by Peisel, he had also gone to look for a few other famous genius doctors in Orris Hill. However, as soon as any one of them heard that the patient was Sean, no one wanted to come. In fact, word about the incident involving Peisel had already spread all over Orris Hill. Moreover, they also knew that Sean's penis was ulcerating because he had been taking medicine indiscriminately. The doctor at Apollo Hospital also said that the only cure for this situation was an amputation. Who would dare to get involved in this matter right now? If he was not cured, not only would they be ridiculed, but they might also suffer from Sean's retaliation. After all, he had retaliated against the Baker family simply because they had given him medication that ultimately caused his penis to start rotting. After searching around with no hope of finding anyone to treat Sean, Alan could only return home out of desperation. At this time, the other members of the Baker family were also in a similar situation as Alan. As soon as anyone heard that the patient was Sean, 11 out of 10 doctors were unwilling to come. They did not even want to come even if they were offered a lot of money. When Mike saw this, he suddenly felt that the future of the Baker family was very bleak. In fact, Sean's rate of festering was not too slow. At this rate, it could be estimated that his penis would be completely rotten in less than 2 days' time. At that time, the Baker family would certainly meet its demise. At this time, Alan dragged Mike aside before he asked in a low voice, "Dad, what should we do now? Why don't we run away instead?" Mike looked at Alan with a sullen expression on his face. The more he looked at him, the angrier and frustrated he felt. "You only know how to escape all the time. Where could you possibly run to? Do you think that Sean will not look for us after we leave Orris Hill?" After that, Mike looked at Alan with an annoyed expression on his face as he said, "I asked you to bring Dr. Billy here, but you came back all by yourself. You're really useless." Alan was very dissatisfied and he argued, "Dad, you can't blame me. As soon as Dr. Billy heard that I wanted him to treat Sean, he refused immediately. It's clear that he has an enmity with Sean. So, what else can I do?" At this time, Mike raised his hand and gave Alan a slap across his face before he cursed at him. "This has always been the case with you ever since you were a child. Whenever something happens, you will always shirk your responsibility. Do you think that you aren't to blame just because Dr. Billy refuses to come? Have you thought about this? Would we even be in this situation if you did not try to win Sean over by giving him a drug that has not been clinically verified?" As he spoke about this, Mike scolded angrily, "If you did not do that, would we have ended up in this situation? I've worked so hard my entire life to build up Baker Pharmaceuticals, and now you're about to destroy it overnight." Alan had been spoiled ever since he was young and his father had rarely ever hit him. At this point, Mike could not help but slap Alan as he was filled with anger and disappointment. Alan also had a very ugly expression on his face at this time. He knew that he was to blame for this incident and it was impossible for him to push the responsibility to someone else. He could only cover his face as he stammered, "Dad, I'm really sorry. I was wrong, but I was only trying to bring the Baker family further. After all, Sean is the chairman of Tesway Group and I thought that our future would definitely be brighter if we developed a good relationship with him." Mike sighed in despair because Alan's words somehow touched him to a certain extent. He knew that his son did not intend to harm the Baker family. He had only done this because he hoped that he would be able to help the Baker family prosper even further. Was this really the destiny of the Baker family? Perhaps this was the price that he had to pay for fooling around too much when he was younger? As he was about to lose all hope, someone in the Baker family suddenly yelled excitedly, "Burton has brought the genius doctor, Dr. Billy, and a young man back with him."